Hi everyone, Adam here as usual with another Ask Me Anything, Ask Adam a Question. This time it's a question from YouTube from Harry Alderman. Hey dude, who's your favourite guitar player and what is it about their playing that you love the most? Also, have you ever done any session work, and if so, is there any advice you could give to someone who is looking to do so? Okay, so first question, who's my favourite guitar player and what do I like most about their playing? It's tough. I don't have a set favourite guitar player. You know, it's like picking a favourite food or something like that. It's going to change on a probably daily basis, probably even through the day. You know, so on a morning I might fancy a bit of Andy Timmons, on an afternoon I might fancy a bit of Alan Holdsworth, and basically whoever I'm listening to at that time kind of becomes my favourite player and my main source of inspiration and influence. But the guys that I mainly gravitate towards are Alan Holdsworth and George Bellis. And you probably throw Sean Lane in there as well. Those are my three kind of top three guitar players. Now, Alan Holdsworth, what do I like most about his playing? The fact it's completely insane. He's absolutely insane. I love his legato sound, but most importantly I love his music. It's really complex, it's really complicated, and it's quite clever music. I appreciate it's not for everyone. Most people have to have an understanding of the music in order to appreciate it. So it's something, when I first heard Holdsworth 8-9 years ago, something like that, I was listening to him and I was like, what is this? It's just noise, it's chaos, there's no structure, I don't like it. And when I went to university and I studied more advanced music theory, and I started to actually break down some of Holdsworth's music and look at it and analyse and work out what it is, then I started to appreciate it, and through that appreciation I started to really enjoy it. And now his Hard Hat area album is one of my favourite albums. Second I mentioned was George Bellis, for very similar reasons. The same as Holdsworth, but from a slightly different sound world. So whereas Holdsworth, I associate Holdsworth with mainly jazz music, bringing in other genres of music in order to create a musical fusion, but it's always kind of jazz-centric. With George Bellis, he does a very similar thing, but I think with him it's always kind of classical or orchestral-centric. So most of his style is more what I would call progressive. Now this is where it kind of blurs the lines between fusion and progressive music, because although Alan Holdsworth and George Bellis are totally different, they're also very similar in kind of concept and ideology of music, if you like. So you can call them both fusion, you could call them both progressive, but the way I look at it, Holdsworth's kind of the fusion guy, Bellis is kind of your progressive guy. That's just the way I look at it. Again, with Bellis, absolutely insane. There's not a technique he can't do. Don't see him tapping very often, but I'm pretty sure he's probably really good at it. Technical beast, and his music again just really connects with us. It can be complex, it can be clever, it can be very physically technical and physically demanding, but it's also really beautiful. Sean Lane was a massive influence on me a few years ago. I don't listen to him as much now, but every time I fancy it and I get out one of his albums or something and I put it on, it still blows my mind. He was hands down probably the best guitar player ever in terms of technique, sheer speed, sheer virtuosity. But again, his music was really, really beautiful. Now, often not as complex or clever as some other guys that I listen to, but it's more complicated than your kind of average rock, pop or jazz music. And with Sean, I really appreciate his technique and I really, really enjoy his music. As for session work and do I have any advice, I haven't really done much. It depends what you class as session work. If you class as session work purely as going into a recording studio and laying down some chords or a solo for another band or an artist, then no, I can't think off the top of my head where I've actually done that. I've worked with a few bands and a few artists who I've produced, and I've laid down little bits of guitar and stuff on their tracks, but not actual session work. Session work I have done is with live bands. The most obvious one was Glorious, that I was in for a good year, only just recently left. I class that as session work in a way, because I was working for the person who owned the band and I was playing music that I didn't necessarily want to play, although by the end of it I was really enjoying playing. Lady Gaga, Jessie J, Rihanna, those kind of things. Once you get into it and you mess about with it, you can make it really unique sounding, really cool sounding. Session work isn't something I'm massively interested in because I'm not really a jack of all trades, to be honest. Although, you know, I can cop any style reasonably. There's people out there who are a lot more versatile than I am. So that's why I would never succeed as a session musician. If I got a session gig to play like a country track, lay down some solos, some riffs for a country track, I would be able to do it, but it wouldn't be as good as some people I know who are really versatile, and instead of me actually taking the work and perhaps not doing the best job for the artist at the time, I would probably recommend one of a few friends who'd be much better suited to that job. So session music is something I would kind of like to do, but it's got to really be within a rock or pop context for me to be able to succeed with that. Okay, Harry, so I hope that answers your questions. Any more questions, please do get back in touch, and I will see you guys later.